Am I live?
Yeah.
All right. Ka halal la Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. All right. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone who we learn the truth from, and salutations unto you brothers and your few sisters that take heed. Okay, we're back again. Going into current events, prophecy that's happening in the news right now. All right. Um, if do you have a scripture to start off on?
I was just gonna bring up that Habakkuk too, to be honest, because the vision, right? Because you were talking about prophecy, how.
Come on. All right. Yeah, we can bring that out, and then I got an article. Read.
Alright, con. Because let me just bring this up. Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry.
Yeah, right. So the visions, which all the prophets, the majority of the prophets, they receive visions, right? And then when they got back from that trance or the dream, where they woke up from the dream, they wrote it down. That's what the angel Uriel told Ezra's. He said, "Put write them down in paper, for they are faithful and true."
That's
You
right.
know, and again, I always gotta come back to the point of faith to understand this. The Most High has to give you the gift of faith,
That's
right?
right.
Because then again, people come with the argument: who wrote the Bible? Is it man's word? And you know, X, Y, and Z. You know,
That's right.
but we know these words are faithful and true. You know, because it's a spirit that worketh through us, man. You know, go ahead.
I think that was it. Hold on, let me go verse 4. No, that was it.
Con. All right. So the first article I'll bring out, and then we'll just go through the spirit, is from CTV News, and it's titled Ontario issues first non-binary X birth certificate. Okay, and this was from May 7th, 2 days ago. All right, May 7th, 2018. Um, I'll just read it. It says a Vancouver filmmaker and writer has received Ontario's first non-binary birth certificate. Ontario-born Joshua M. Ferguson identifies as non-binary trans and uses the pronouns they and them. So from reading that, you should scratch your head saying, "What the hell's going on?"
Yeah.
You know, because this is nothing but confusion, man. This is nothing but foolishness, folly.
That's right.
Okay, but you people, you're eating this up to believe this is normal. This is a normal society. Well, the Most High God, He's coming back to punish you people, man.
That's right.
You know, because you're in a sick, twisted reality. You know, it says
Con.
the birth certificate is marked with an X designation indicating a non-binary person. And I'm gonna look up that term, non-binary. You know, and then the word for non-binary that came up is gender queer. um,
Well,
which gender queer, also termed non-binary, is a catch-all category for gender identities that are not exclusive to masculine or feminine.
how?
So it's just basically whatever the fuck you want to be.
Yo, but
You
that
know,
shows you that this place is out of whack, man. How you neither or? What kind of build do
it's
you
crazy,
have where you're neither male or female? That doesn't even make any damn sense.
right? It says identities which are outside the gender binary and cis normativity, right? Um, I can't. Yeah, I'm not even gonna read all this shit. It's madness, but that was the point, really. But hey, but no, Slack it down here, right? This points out the term has also been applied by those describing what they see as a gender ambiguity. Slack it. This word ambiguity. I'm gonna look up this word ambiguity, which means the quality of being open to more than one interpretation. So again, more foolishness, more fucking folly. Okay, and it says androgynous is frequently used as a descriptive term for people in this category. So they're showing you they're androgynous, man. And that
That's right.
term androgynous, it goes back to that devil, Aleister Crowley,
Huh.
right? He worshipped a demon, a spiritual demon that had both male genitalia and female genitalia. Okay, and his doctrine, his whole way of life was "do as thou wilt shall be the whole of the law." And this is what you people are following. You think you're following liberalism and your free will and all this stuff. really that shit, when you go off to that spectrum of free will and doing whatever you want, it falls into madness
That's
because
right.
you're given to your own sensations. You without these laws, statutes, and commandments, the biblical laws, statutes, and commandments, you're subject unto vanity,
That's right.
unto foolishness.
That's right.
You know better than animals, man.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah, you said that.
So
You said that in Solomon
yeah,
too.
yeah,
Solomon said, with all the laws, man, you're counted as beasts because man is still a creature. The only thing that separates us from the animals are really these laws.
yeah, Khan. Yep, that's right. Um, so getting back to the article, it says, you see, Ferguson applied to Service Ontario for the document in 2017 and filed a human rights claim when it was not initially granted. See, so these devils they go up to the Supreme Court and the World Court and all this shit, and they have to grant them these things because it comes from the top to the it goes from the top to the bottom. The water flows downhill. So who's up top making these laws is the elites, man.
That's
They
right.
introduced this foolery, this foolishness. So you people are all confused, man. And it's really just prophecy.
That's
You
right.
know, it says the province issued, and if you call, see, it identifies as the pronouns they and them. So guess what? If you call, how is she doing, or her, or he, or whatever, they get offended, man. They might sue your ass. That's why we gotta get the fuck out of here, man.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
Um, it says Ontario's new policy will save lives in the trans community.
See?
It says Ferguson wrote in a statement on Monday, a birth certificate is the most vital form of ID for personhood. Being officially counted and recognized is empowering. And this thing is fucking married, man. It shows Joshua and Ferguson and husband. Complete fucking madness, man.
Fine.
Ontario says it is the first jurisdiction in the world to implement a twofold policy. See that? That's why we were just talking before we started. Ontario is a special kind of wicked place, man.
Yeah,
It's a
fine.
wicked fucking province, man. You know, like I'll beg to differ. Maybe BC's wicked too, but I see a lot of shit happening in Ontario, and Ontario is a very wicked place, man. Right? The school policy that they wrote was it 3 or 2 years ago about teaching children about masturbation and you can change
Yeah.
your gender. That was written by a man that was convicted for being a pedophile, a child molester. And he wrote that school guideline. So Ontario's a man. There's a lot of judgment coming to this place, and you see the most I fucked up this place, man. The ice storm, then you had the 110-kilometer winds. And then the Most High is gonna bring more judgment to this place. See how wicked this place is, man. It
Fine.
says, um, allowing the selection of either male, female, or non-binary, and allowing the option of not displaying such identification on the birth certificate. Ferguson has also fought for an X designation on BC health cards. They were also among the first to have their application for an X designation approved under new rules for passports and other documents issued by Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. And I gotta say this too, like a lot of immigrants, man, when they or the refugees, they come here and they get laxy daisy, man. They start drinking that Babylonian wine, and you see their children, man. They start going off the rails. You're gonna have your kids, your refugee kids. They might start identifying as binary or non-binary. I'm neither me. I don't identify as male or female. I'm just X. I'm in between.
That's right.
Whatever the hell I feel, whatever I feel that day. You know. Um, Ferguson called the Ontario birth certificate a victory, both personally and for all trans Canadians. This policy makes it clear that non binary people exist, they said. We are Ontarians and Canadian citizens. It's just a bunch of witchcraft, man. They're pulling over you people, and majority of you people, the most they'll do is find it strange, but they'll go back to their regularly tuned programming,
Fine.
which is being a fucking sheep, and they'll find nothing wrong with it. They'll eat it up, man. That was it on the article.
Fine. I have two precepts. Trying to find the third one. But I'll bring this on till I find the next one. This is Habakkuk 3 and 4. It says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him." And bringing that out, you've seen the example of them trying to be their ex or whatever, man. Like, what kind of person goes and looks at themselves and say, well, though I have, a rod, like I'm not a male, and I don't have tits, but I'm not a female, or female say, they're in between. How are you in between? What can you justify that with? What logical explanation can you really bring to the table and show proof that you're neither male nor female? There is none. You guys have a sickness. What do they call that? There's a special word where they used to call people who used to identify as those type of things, man. That was actually a disease around 50 years ago. You know, now it's okay. This devil brings it out and says, okay, well, now it's okay. He's pacified the masses of the community to accept weird, unexplainable things. It's only because it feels good why people accept it.
And also Esau has his tactics. One is called the Hegelian dialect. For people watching, you look up the Hegelian dialect. We're not going to go into it now, but it's spelled Hegelian dialect, or Hegelian dialect, dialectos, which is another term. Also, another tactic is called the Overton window. Right? Again, you can look that up. It's basically on the spectrum where they introduce an idea that's so radical and crazy. Like at one point in time, faggots, right? That was crazy. That was not normal, right? And people understood that they had to be in hiding. Then they started pushing it. If you notice it in movies, different media streams, right? In your school systems, even via religion, to the point now where you have in churches safe spaces and everyone can come and mingle. Where, like you said, like 50 years ago, you couldn't really do that shit.
That's
And they
right.
slowly start doing it to where it became a crazy idea and just so perverse to the point where it's normalized. In
Con.
this society, like what we're talking about now, it's just going to become normalized, man, because this kingdom has to get worse before it gets destroyed. You know?
That's right. Con. It says, "But the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man." And that's exactly what Esau has been doing, man. He's been taking these scriptures and flipping them upside down, man. Anything the scripture says that's right, he says, nah, man, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna cause people to accept shit that don't even really exist. To say you're X, Y, Z, that doesn't really exist. Your makeup isn't made of non-male, non-female, tissue or organs. You still function as a male if you're a male, and you still function as a female if you're female. Your mentality in itself shows you that you function like either a male or female. Now, determining your crazy level, that's really what the Most High gives you, your madness. But you still function and think like a certain species. You're not gonna go outside of that because the Most High has ordained a man to be a man and a woman to be a woman. You can't escape it. It doesn't matter how much folly you want to think about or put yourself in a fantasy space and say I'm this. The point is you can't escape what the Most High is ordained to be. You know. Um. I'm gonna go into this real quick. Revelations 20:7. "And when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four corners of the earth." You can speak on it.
Yeah, kind of basically that's during the time that Esau came out of the caves. During the time of the Renaissance, which means rebirth, and their job, their goal, by the Most High, because we know Esau is the Most High's whipping stick, or sword. It was to deceive, man. That's why we call him the devil, right? In Spanish, el diablo meaning deceiver, and he has deceived the whole world, man. He's deceived the world into thinking that he's God. He's the son of God. He's God's people. He's righteous, And again, he's deceiving you through these tactics that he's doing right now, you know.
Con of another precept. Uh, this is uh, this is Matthew's 19:4, and he answered, and he answered and said unto them, "Have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female?
So this is a cut. Where is Esau coming with all of this, man? You know, Yahushua even himself said that the Most High from the beginning made male and female. He didn't make XYZ. He didn't say transgenderism. He didn't say I'm this and I'm that and I'm in between. He didn't make an in between species. An in between species is just madness, and that's also what a false balance. Because if
Con,
you're in between male and female, then where's the balance? There's no balance there. Okay, so clearly we know where the workings of this place is coming from, man, from Satan, really. That evil energy, okay?
yep.
And people are eating it up. This new generation is toast, man. Your pineal gland is fried. We call you GMO babies. You guys don't take time to really look at reality and say, well, I don't feel like I'm outside of a male or a female. I don't feel as, and you know what's even worse? You guys don't even understand why this is happening. You guys just accept whatever is on TV. You accept whatever feels emotionally good to you, and which is really the lust of the flesh. You guys are losing that battle of the lust of the flesh. The flesh just wants to do all types of wickedness and filthiness while it can. You know,
Slakia. That was it on the precept.
Con, I had Isaiah 19, and I'll start at verse 11. And this is really, again, going into America. It says, surely the princes of Zoan are fools. The counsel of the wise counselors of Pharaoh has become brutish. How say ye unto Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, the son of ancient kings? Where are they? Where are thy wise men? And let them tell thee now, and let them know what the Lord of hosts hath proposed upon Egypt. Now again, New Egypt is America. The word Egypt means in Greek bondage. That's just another code word for America. Um, it says, verse 13, the princes of Zoan are become fools, the princes of Naph are deceived. They have also seduced Egypt, even they that are the stay of the tribes thereof. The Lord, this is the point, the Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof. And you're seeing that right now, man. It's just complete disorder, man. You
That's
know,
right.
like we were hanging out with the brothers after camp last week, and we were in the mall, and then you know, you got these women walking by, and a brother might talk to a woman and whatever. And the security came after, and he said, "Guys," he's like, "I know there's a lot of gorgeous girls. I look too, but I can't talk to them. I'm in uniform. But someone made a complaint. You guys just comment down on the I forgot what he said, cat calling or some shit like that. I don't know what word he said. You even talk to a woman nowadays, or you look at them, and they deem it some kind of sexual assault or some BS like that. They feel intimidated. But meanwhile, you have all this madness going on, man.
That's right.
You have all this wickedness happening. And people are so sensitive, but why aren't you sensitive to this shit?
Yeah.
Why you're subject to this madness, and you guys are keeping a closed eyes like it's not happening, or turn a blind eye. But it's still happening, and it's gonna creep up in your school system. It's gonna go in your workplaces. You're gonna be among these people, man. You
That's
know.
right.
Um,
Super
verse
true.
2, the word perverse in the Hebrew, which is let me see, awayam, right, which means distorting, perverting, warping. You see, and these people are completely. This society's warped, man. It's completely distorted. You know, down here it says depravities, perversities. You know, and that's exactly what is happening in this society, man. And then the root word is iwa, which means to bend, to twist, to distort. And you already know the precept, man. It was Isaiah 10. Woe unto you that did decree and righteous decrees. I'm in the book of Isaiah. I'll get that, but it says to be bent. Oh, to be bent. That's where you get the word amendment from, right? Esau has these amendments, and the word amendment means to actually the word. What does the word mend mean? To mend. It means to bend or to change to your fashion. These laws cannot be bent, man. But Esau, through his wickedness, you know, Jake, for example, I was just thinking about it today. Trudeau, again, he's promising weed is gonna be legalized, but all them Jake said that got locked up, got charges dropped on him, still have charges to this day because they're selling weed. What happens then? That's a true definition of a wicked ass fucking society, man.
That's right.
The fact that you're selling your shit, whatever, and then you get charged, and then when you come out, you might it's hard as hell to get a job, man.
That's right.
But now you have these people making money legally, through the same shit. How can you be satisfied in a society with that kind of shit going on?
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
to bend, to be bowed down, be twisted, be perverted, to distort, to commit iniquity, do wrong. So that's the kind of spirit that Most High has put upon these people, man. And again, I got Isaiah 10:1, which says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed." And this shit about the non-binary people, that's a grievous act, man.
That's right.
To turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people. Right?
I can speak on that real quick. That right of the poor also is to actually to do the law and to bring it forth. Because that is really the right of Israel, is to actually live by these laws, and Esau makes it very difficult. Like you said, catcalling or whatever to tone it down. That's in the scripture. There's no verse that says do not holler at women and do not speak to them. The only time you're not supposed to speak to a woman is if she has a husband. But if you're trying to talk to her, all of a sudden it's you need to keep it down, or you need to watch how you speak to women, or you need to do this. Since when, man? Even when it comes down to being a man in this society, now that's shunned down.
Look how they're dressing, man. And that's the thing that people they try to bring up. Oh, it doesn't matter how she dresses. It doesn't matter about this and that. Well, look, man, I'm gonna tell you, like, if you're a proper man, with hormones, and everything is working right, your blood is pumping right, you got your nutrients in you, and you see a woman with her titties out and her thighs and everything, man. You know what I'm saying? And you don't get aroused, you definitely gonna be aroused, man. Because even he said, man, he said it twice or maybe even 3 times. He's like, and I know some of these girls, they're just amazing, but you can't really talk to them that way. But listen, man, like, in this society, bro, like, it's completely mad. And Esau loves doing this shit. Where do you think all this fashion shit comes from? All these new fashion trends. And nowadays, these women, they're not even wearing shit. They got see-through clothing. They're not even. There's no point in wearing clothes, man. They're just wearing. Yeah, they're just wearing that shit just for that extra little tease or whatever, man. But these women, they're completely off the rails, man.
And what is it that what you guys showed with like Nicki Minaj and Cardi B doing that sun worship shit at that award? Cardi B had a picture where she's basically wearing nothing, man. Same with Nicki Minaj and all that stuff. So when you look at them, when the women look at these women that are quote unquote, at the top, they mimic them. So they think it's okay.
Yeah, just like you go to a mall, and then you'll walk by I don't know, like Calvin Klein or some shit, and you'll see a picture of 3 women in Calvin Klein. You know what I mean? And they're all dressed up, small tank top, their titties are out, their asses out. And then of course the girls and the women are looking at that, they're buying that, and it's a following down the example. Hey man, I'm gonna tell you a story too. I was in this program years ago, and this Benjamin woman, she was the director, and she even told me, man, she's like, this was, man, like maybe 6-7 years ago, and she's like, I don't know how you do it. She's like, I feel bad for you guys. I see what these girls are wearing out here. She was older when she was like in her 40s. And she's like, I don't know how you guys do it, man. She's like, I feel bad for you guys. She's on the phone, just telling me, I feel bad for you guys. I'm like, hey, it's crazy, but these people know, man. They're trying to make us look crazy. Like, oh, you guys are talking about what they're wearing. It doesn't matter what they're wearing. Well, it do.
Okay, because the Most High put it in men to have a natural reaction when he sees a naked woman. Okay, it's in a man. That's why she has to cover. An insult really was this new generation women. They think that a man should learn how to control himself, in a sense, and a woman should be allowed to walk half naked. And we need to learn to accept that and understand that. No, man. There's a reason why the Most High tells women to cover up, man, because there's something in us that just sparks when you see a naked woman, man. Because what a woman attracts a man in that type of way, man. The skin,
Yeah, you
the way
you
they
even have
curve.
the pheromones.
Right.
It's down to a chemical level where if a woman smells your sweat, you know what I mean, and you got them pheromones, she's attracted to you, and you're
Con,
attracted to her. So
con.
it's on a chemical level. It's not even really aesthetics or appearances. It's on a hormonal chemical level, man. How you gonna
Con.
control that shit? The Most High wired it that way,
That's
and
right.
Esau's here, to show you, okay, look but don't touch, or you look but don't talk to,
Con.
and all this shit, right?
Damn devil, bro.
It says, and again, we're not telling people talking about a rapist and this and that. No, hey, listen, man, there's no brother in GMS that are rapists, man.
Con.
We're just pointing out the wickedness, man. We're
That's
just
right.
pointing out things you people are scared to talk about because you see it. You're talking about a man in his 30s. He sees a 16, 17, 18-year-old girl, fine as hell. He's like this, and he looks, and then shit, I can't look. People, I
Yeah.
can't look at it. You're looking, man, and you're thinking about it.
That's right.
You know, I'm talking about, oh, she's too young, age of consent. That's why Issa has a thing in Ontario. I think it's 16.
Mm-hmm.
It was 14. I think they bumped it up to 16. The age of consent,
Con.
right?
Hey, no,
It
but
says,
I think one of the forgot her name, but she's actually trying to lower it even back down now to 12. I saw an article
it's
about
crazy.
that. Yeah.
Well, it used to be that um a while back, like over 6 years ago. I think in New York in the late or the early 1900s. I think it was 10, man. I believe it
See,
was like 10 years old. You know. So again, Esau shit changes, man. They don't have anything in stone. You know.
that's right. That's why he's not perfect because he's always has to change his laws, man. Depending on the situation, he has to change it. You know.
Crime. It says verse 3, or it's like back in verse 2, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. And what will ye do in the day of visitation in the desolation which shall come from far? To whom will ye flee for help, and where will ye leave your glory?
Yeah,
Right,
that's why
and then that,
that's why Esau that's why Esau snapping with his wickedness right now. Because he knows that he's not gonna have any glory after this. All the stuff that he said here, like the brother said, nothing is in stone. So as soon as this place is wiped out, there's gonna be no remembrance of his transgenderism and this birth certificate and what did they call himself? Binary what? By
non-binary.
non-binary. All of that won't exist anyway. Okay, and he won't have anywhere to go to rebuild and restart. Okay, and we're gonna make sure through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Rashai that you don't have a chance to restart, man. You're just gonna just stay low, powerless, man. You guys being in power is like a disaster, man. It's like a ticking time bomb with you devils, man.
Right. So it says back to Isaiah 19, 19 and 14 again. The Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst of Egypt, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit.
Hmm.
That's why in the U.S., man, it's completely messed up. Looking at the statistics, the from everything, man, from everyday society to your infrastructure is crumbling. Your economy is crumbling. The average life expectancy of people is crumbling. The life quality of people is completely low. You got diseases. You got people all bugged out, man. So the Lord, He has completely made Egypt to err in every work, man. You know. Um, Verse 15, neither shall there be any work for Egypt which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. So the top to the bottom, man, from the poor to from the lowly to the high. You're gonna have no more jobs, man. and these jobs are being cut off, man. That's why it's, all these companies, Sears, you know, was it, sub like all these different corporations and companies are closing, man. They're cutting. They're having layoffs,
That's right.
right? That was it on that.
I have a precept.
Con.
Just going into the people really accepting this, and backing it up, because really, it's really the people that are accepting this that's making Esau go further and further. You know, Isaiah 5:20, and it says, "Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter." And you can break it down. All right.
Yeah, con, man. Basically, what we read in about distortion and perverseness, you know, that's what this devil is doing, man. You know,
It says, "Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight." And
and
that's
that's the generation, you know,
yeah,
everything. Oh, I have my own dreams, and the way I'm doing it is the best way, and you know, fuck everyone else and everything and all this shit. You
con.
know,
Which goes back to that precept where it's 1 Corinthians 3, which says, let them be wise so they can be a fool.
mm,
Paraphrasing, man, because these people really believe that whatever they say or whatever they feel is actually truth. They actually think that if they feel comfortable, that means it's right. Which goes back to Proverbs 14:12. Actually, let me get that real quick. You know, because you guys are in a rude awakening. You guys really think that this way of living and this acceptance and making all this homosexuality and transgender is gonna flourish. You guys are crazy, man. That's why it says in Job 20 that the joy of the hypocrite is only but a moment, man. Because you guys are in some next shit, bro. And it's selected for my language, but it's scary knowing that you have to live alongside people that are that dumb. You know, this is Proverbs 14:12. It says, "There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death." And you guys see this as a right way, as a just way of living. You guys even bring it to the next extent that God is okay with it. Because why? Evil work is not executed speedily, man. And judgment not executed speedily unto you. So you believe that God's with it, because you're like, okay, well, if something's wrong, how come he didn't kill all of you? He's coming. He's just tacking up on that bill. It might not affect us because we're in the truth, but people don't understand that your next generation is gonna wax worse off of the acceptance of what you're putting in now. Look how it was 20, 30 years ago, right? People didn't really accept homosexuality, and then one generation accepted it, and the next generation is taking it to the next level. Now the generation after them, all right, instead of just being a homo, let's change the way we look. Now the next generation, all right, instead of changing how we look, now let's be non-male and female. Next generation, all right, instead of that, now let's get offended if he calls me a male or a he or a she or whatever the case may be. So imagine what the next generation.
remember you had that grown ass man. I think he was in his late 30s. He had a regular job, but I think he lived with his mom. And then when he came home, he 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 identified as the fuck was a 4 or 5 year old little girl,
Yeah,
and
yeah, con.
he put on the dress and he had pigtails and he had a crib and played with toys, and he said, "No, when I come home, this is my escape time. I'm a 4 year old girl again. I'm a 5 year old girl, and this is a grown late 30s, I think 40s man. So you're talking about this is normality."
These people are whack, man. Yo, this is why we say
But they found us crazy. You know, you gotta get a job. You guys are crazy.
that.
Yeah, but yet you're not the ones going up and talking to people. To even those people are saying that they're marrying trees. Yeah, I saw on a video a woman married a train station, man, saying the train station is her husband. I mean, this is what you're passing down into the next generations. If if a certain generation is already accepting the wildness of things and saying they're marrying buildings and shit, imagine what the next generation is gonna think of, man.
Hey, well,
Just imagine.
it can't go any higher, bro. That's I
Yeah.
don't see it. Because I remember someone that they said they said they married a dolphin or some shit.
Yeah, you see what I mean? Which is crazy, man. It can
Yeah, but hey, leave them alone. They're fine. They're perfectly normal.
normal to a
You know?
psychopath.
You can't
You know.
judge them.
Yeah. Well, we'll see, man. This I got a quick precept just to back. If you can break this down, on
Come on.
Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 24. Um, it says they kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled, but either one slew another treacherously or grieved him by adultery, so that they were reigned in all men without exception, blood, manslaughter, theft, and dissimulation, corruption, unfaithfulness, tumults, and perjury, disquieting of good men, forgetfulness of good terms, defiling of souls, changing of kind, disorder in marriages,
Hey, you see
adultery,
that's
and shameful
all,
conclusions.
all these things the brothers reading is all the stuff they were doing in Canaan, man. You
Con,
know, all these things they were doing, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, and all the other Hamites. They were doing all these things that are being listed. You know, but even back then they were chopping off rods and pretending they were women and all this shit. You know, it's just in this
con,
kingdom Esau perfected it, man, because he is perfect on the left hand side,
con,
right? The Lord even called him perfect in the book of Ezekiel. You know,
con,
that was perfect in all that way. So yeah, he is perfect on the left hand side. So he's perfected it to the point where you cannot tell the difference, man, between a woman and a man. You know,
con,
you might be looking at someone or something and thinking it's one gender, and it's a complete different gender.
con.
You know, so
Hey,
this thing goes deep, man.
hey, that's why Paul applied, man. If ye shall be like me, man, not marrying or anything, basically be a eunuch, because a lot of so-called women you might talk to or see, they're really men, and a lot of them get sex changes at your very, very, very young ages, to the point where you could never tell, man. They take pills where they get high voices, so they actually sound like actual women. You know,
Yeah, they
it's a
start
it's a
taking
it's a very
them hormonal, uh,
con
or they start making the hormonal changes in their
con
body.
con. Let me see if there's any more on this. Um. Yes, it's for the worshiping of idols not to be named is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil. And that's major, because who do Isa use to push that? Your celebrities, which are idols, which you idolize, man. Okay, because they push the next idols, which is what, man? Satan, Baphomet, as above, so below, which is what, man? That transgender shit. And then when the people in the world are looking at these celebrities, some of these so-called females in the celebrity world are actually males, man.
Yep.
So that's why it says even the idols are the beginning of evil, because you idolize these so-called celebrities, and you want to be like them, not knowing that they're actually could be men that are women, and women that are actually men. Esau flips everything, you know. That was it. You have anything?
Kind of had the scripture. We can end it off on here if you don't have anything
Kind,
else.
kind,
This is Second Ezra's 5. You can break it down 5 and 7, and it says, "And the Sodomitish sea shall cast out fish and make a noise in the night, which many have not known, but they shall hear the voice thereof." It's like, but they
kind,
shall all hear the voice thereof,
kind.
right?
Which I believe is the homosexuality and stuff like that. Because
Yep.
at one point, to actually see what you're seeing now wasn't even fathomable. Even when I was growing up, I never even thought I would ever hear or see a transgender.
Yeah.
That wasn't in my
Hey, you
mind.
called them back in the day. You made fun of you made him you called them like he she's, but you never
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
thought a man could go through an operation and get all these things to look like an actual woman. You just call them drag queens or cross dressers, shit like
yeah.
that. But yeah,
Con,
man, to the level it is now, it's crazy.
and that comes to show you that this place. if you're not on your P's and Q's, man, it will warp you. It will suck you in to the point where you even have some of these men now who don't even care that they're dealing transgenders. You know, they're that gone. Oh, who cares? Who cares? Why? Because they look so close to women that they don't even give a fuck anymore, man. That's why if the spirit of Yahweh Messiah is not with you in this current time, you're gonna fall to the evils of this world, which is deadly, man. And I think I seen one of the brothers' videos said, man, you can just have the smallest sin and you'll die right along a transgender. Same thing, man. You don't want to be caught up with Esau's bullshit. You don't, man, because at the end it's really not worth it. It's
Con.
not.
That's right,
For
man.
what, a little bit.
That's why you gotta meditate on these laws, man. Try to the best of your ability. You know,
That's right.
and
It's a
this
fight.
place will consume you,
That's right. It's a
right?
suffering, man.
And
Go ahead.
and again, when it says many have not heard, man, like the brother said, like you have not heard these things, man. You have the world has not understood these things, but they're hearing it now and they're seeing it,
That's right.
right? Hey, that's why the president of Chechnya, which they're Edomites, but they're rough ass Edomites. He's like, no, we don't have gays in our country because they're asking him about this faggot ass anchor guy. He's asking, what about the claims that you torture homosexuals and put them in these prisons? And he's just like, these are all lies. Like, we don't have these kind of people. He's like, and if we do, just ship them off to Canada or somewhere. He's like, we don't tolerate these kind of people, you know. And again, like these are the nations, man. It's strange to them, but give it a generation, man. Give democracy a generation in your country, and you'll see what the hell your kids will grow up to be. You know, that's why some of these nations they're really fighting tooth and nail, man, just to get America out of their fucking country, man.
Time.
They don't want your McDonald's. They don't want your fucking strip clubs. Your fucking BS legislation. You know, they just want to be left alone. But Esau, no, you know that's the barbarian way of life, and you know this is the brutish. Well, America, look at America. America's one big fucking zoo. You know,
That's
you're
right.
talking about civilization and glory. It's just one big fucking zoo, man, with no cages.
That's
You
right.
know,
That's right.
it's fucking jungle. Verse 8, there shall be a confusion also in many places.
And that's happening, man. Every time you go outside, you're confused. It's to the point where you even have to second guess if you're talking to a woman or a man, man, or if you're talking to somebody who thinks they're in between the lines of male and female. You don't know nowadays, man. You don't.
And like I said, you can't call some of these things him or her. No, I
Yeah.
don't identify as that. I say, what? I identify as them.
And you would get confused because you're like, yo, yeah, he went up the stairs or whatever you say that, and you're like, oh, I'm offended. Hey, I saw a news clip. I saw a news clip of a woman, and she was being interviewed. It was on Fox, and the man said, "So you declared to say you get offended if someone calls you a female," and she said yes. So he's like, "So if I were to say that you are a woman, would that be offensive?" She said yes. So he's like, "So what do I call you?" She said a person. I'm like, nigga, what? So if I were to call you out of all these people, how am I supposed to identify that between the male and female if I'm trying to get at you? Hey, person, you're not even gonna respond to that, to be honest. Because that could be anyone.
Yep. Crazy,
No?
man. It says, verse 8 again, there shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be often out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters.
Yeah, you even the animals, are in territories they're not supposed to be in, man. Just escaping the vibration of this place, and Esau has forced them out, cut down their homes, whatever the case may be, you know. And then it also says that women shall bring forth monstrous children, man. These little ass niggas, man, lights, they're all wicked, man. These kids are crazy. These kids want a sex change at age 2. Some of these kids are psychopaths at age 4, man. Killing brother. Hey, if you guys have Netflix, man, watch Psychopathic Kids. It shows kids that are murdering their parents at age 4 or 5, man. killing your brothers and sisters blatantly, not even accidents. Like they tell you they wanted to kill their parents, man. This is a society we're living in, man. You know, kids have no respect for elders. They're talking back. All right. Some of them do the most wild. Hey, there's some kids that are smoking at age 4. All type of madness. You know. How is it?
It says, verse 9, it says, and salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into the secret chamber.
Yeah, and that's these scriptures, this truth. Because you know, when all out war breaks out between people against people and all that stuff, man, only those this is Isaiah 13:6, wisdom and knowledge shall be stable at that time, man. Because we're gonna keep that shit to ourselves. Because while everybody's confused and just trying to survive and killing off each other and don't know how to handle the situation, you know, we're gonna be you know, Adon Ratazah, you know, in a safekeeping. Because you guys are gonna go into even more confusion when everything you believe is gone, when you no longer have to go to work, when you no longer have to pay bills and you're left just to run away from the army and all that stuff, man. That's when you're going to be even in more chaotic state, you know. And imagine all those people who believe they're females and males. I wonder what they're going to be in in those times. Which side are you going to pick, man? Who's going to uphold that transgender class when hell breaks loose? Everyone's gonna fall into place, man. The males are gonna be males, and the females are gonna be females, man. Because at that point, you only have 2 options, man: death or survival. That's it. You know.
That was it.
So with that, you know, we're gonna close out. All praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakodash. Double honors the apostle, great millstone, who will and teach well, and salutations to the occupant on the four corners of the earth, putting this truth and sincerity and charity. Adon Matazad is edifying. Shalom. Death to America. Kwame Shalom.
Death to America. Kwame Shalom.